Hey there, I just want to give you a quick warning before we go forward. In this video, I cover topics such as depression and existentialism. If any of those topics are too sensitive for you, please protect yourself and click off now. Darkness, hopelessness, fear, dread, survival. These words are meant to invoke unpleasant feelings and thoughts. So, why do they bring me so much comfort? Ever since I was a child, I was a fan of horror. Gore, blood, cheap scares. But as I've grown older, I've become more sensitized to body horror. It's as if a part of my psyche had broken and needed protection from the dark elements for a while. However, I have noticed that as I continue to grow, horror will always have a place in my heart. There's something about the beauty of the darkness. Something about the way bleak, hopeless themes make me feel. I've lived a short and sad life for most of my days. Pain was, and still sometimes is, my comfort. It's familiar and sure. Goodness and hope are never assured, but you can bet your bottom dollar that there will always be pain and misery. I discovered Berserk as a teenager. I had stumbled across the Golden Age movies. The senseless violence, sex, and horror of the world around Guts was new to me. It was a level of bleakness that I'd never experienced before as a child. The scene during the eclipse, you know the one, was something I'd never seen so blatantly depicted in the media before. Watching Guts fight through his restraints with enough willpower to tear his body away from his own arms was terrifying. His drive to survive, to protect, to conserve the only thing he had left. That resonated with me. Even though it shocked me, it comforted me. Witnessing Guts' drive to go on when hell itself had begun to rise and consume his world, now in the physical, not just in the mental, spiritual, and emotional, sat uneasily with me at first, and then it settled nicely into the crook of my heart. Over time, I became inspired by dark media. Seinen anime and manga were always a fascinating medium of storytelling to me, but Berserk pushed me over the edge. It was something new, it was different, I'd never seen anything like it before. In 2015, I finally discovered the series that solidified that feeling that I described in the beginning of the video, the Soulsborne series. Bloodborne was my first Souls game ever, and thank God, because I truly believe Bloodborne was the perfect ferryman to hold my hand into this odd world of comfort within distress. Bloodborne's majestic and hypnotic use of existential horror, something I'm unfortunately very familiar with and have been since a young age, and mixing it with beautifully disturbing orchestral soundtracks rearranged my DNA. It changed my brain, it turned something within my soul. The siren song of Hail the Nightmare, the high and low notes dancing together, calling my name, gently holding my hand, and leading me into the fog while staring me down hungrily. I felt at peace and disturbed all at the same time. The frigidity of the air burning my lungs and the cold caress of dark hands wrapping around my soul, but it was still touch. It was terrifying but intimate, a connection I hadn't felt with anything like it before. I was the hunter. I had been a hunter all my life, a scared stranger in a world I was forced, tricked into against my will. Everything around me wanted me gone, hunting me back. I was alone, as I'd always been. But this time, I had a weapon. I had power. I had a fighting chance. I watched myself through my character grow and develop, learn and strengthen, become what my real self couldn't at the time. I didn't have to depend on anything but myself, which was fine, because that was all I had known anyway. My character was a reflection of myself from the moment they arose from that table. They were stuck in a pit dug from their own desperation for something better, something more, a concept that has plagued me all of my days. Now, I want to interrupt here and comfort you and let you know that I haven't been through the worst life imaginable. I know that there are people out there who have suffered fates worse than my own, objectively speaking. I just want you to know I am deeply familiar with isolation, desolation, despair, hopelessness, pain, darkness, and loneliness. I don't believe in comparing suffering, as everyone who suffers has valid feelings and ideas about what they've been through. Everybody has their own unique experiences, but I'm just here to tell the story of my own darkness, how I survived it, how I lived in it, and how I can assure you that regardless of our differing experiences, I empathize with your own darkness. Back to our topic. I beat the game 6 or 7 times, and as much as I adore this game, and it will always be in my top 3 of all time, I have a tattoo of it, for goodness sake. I wanted more. I wanted more of this open, empty world. I wanted more of the isolation and despair, of the unsurety of not knowing what was around the corner. I had gone back to that comfort within the pain I had known before, but also my character had changed. I had aged and grown and developed more wisdom and foresight. As a child ages into an adult and grows accustomed to their ways, I wanted it harder, heavier, the way an addict needs more substance to get the same high. I began looking into more dark media like the Souls games. I even dipped my toes into indie games like Darkwood, Blasphemous, and Darkest Dungeon. I find that sometimes big game studios are afraid to be what I'm describing here because of publishers and media concerns, but independent developers who aren't afraid to create monstrosities that were born from the depths of their conscience. Oh, I love you. I love you so much. Those games are so raw, they're human, they're truthful to themselves and reality and the concepts you want to convey. So to all the indie game developers who can illustrate the darkness that lives in the underbelly of our existence and bring it to light, thank you. We can never conquer the darkness if we don't acknowledge it, face it, fight it. We have to lift the veil. I'll end this essay here with this message. I believe that if more people understood the darkness that lies within, the suffering that many of us endure since our first day on Earth, and learn to appreciate that beauty, the less suffering we would collectively have. Media, television, and the like are always pushing these toxic levels of positivity. They want to shield you from the bad so you don't break. You can't work a catatonic slave, after all. And humans are, by nature, avoidant of discomfort and fear. But as fearsome as the darkness is, I have a love for it, because it shaped me into the person I am today. It was my friend for a really long time. It taught me lessons that bathing in constant goodness and light and safety never would have. The empty, open fields of Elden Ring, the tight corridors of Resident Evil, the quiet, empty sub-realities of Bloodborne, the abandoned castles of Dark Souls, the void, foggy streets of Silent Hill. All these places remind me of home, where I started. So if you feel like you need to grow, to separate, to develop who you truly are with no outside influence or voices, I invite you to survive. I invite you to pick up your sword and shield, endure pain, embrace it, learn from it, understand it, study it, understand why it exists, why it hunts us. Talk to it, confront it, fight it, grow. The darkness is waiting. The gauntlet is open. Are you strong enough to come out on the other side? Hey there, if you're still here, thank you for sticking around and watching my video essay. I really enjoyed talking about this topic as it's something that sits within my soul. If you enjoy video games like this and mediums like this, I think you'll be happy to hear that I will be doing a Let's Play of Fear and Hunger soon, which I am super looking forward to. I've heard such awful things about it, and so I have to play it. I hear that it is the embodiment of basically everything that I talked about in my essay, and I am so excited to be doing a Let's Play of it, so look out for that soon. Thank you for watching. I am the Silent Sheepdog, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.